Imagine you're one shot, running from the killer. As they get closer and closer, you're running out of options, all abilities on cooldown, and you have nothing left, except one little glimmer of hope. As you're running, in the corner of your eye, you see someone, and it looks like they have a milestone foreskin. You start to feel better, like there can be hope and you might be able to survive, until they get closer, and you realize it's a milestone 4 guest. As they run at you, they miss their charge, running straight into a wall, giving himself brain damage. And after that, tries to block the killer, but ends up getting gashly wounded and killed instantly, putting you in LMS with 1 shot left. Even if this situation sounds unrealistic to you, I promise this has happened to many people before. And that's why today we're here to find out, is guest 1337 really the worst Sentinel? Or is there someone else? In Forsaken, there's currently 4 Sentinels in the game, which is Shedletsky, 2-Time, Chance, and lastly, the so-called worst, guest 1337. With the roster so low of people who can stun and fight back against the killer, it should be easy to see who is objectively the worst. In order to actually be objective though, we need some criteria we need to be able to follow, and don't worry, I have that covered. In the case of Sentinels, their whole goal is to distract and be able to get the killer off people. With this in mind, it leads us to our first criteria, which is how useful are the stuns and how frequent are they? The next criteria we have is how much survivability do they have for themselves? And lastly, as a Sentinel, how well can they keep their team alive, whether with abilities or anything else that they can pull off? Let's go through each category, one character at a time, so we can really examine their skills. And for each one, I will be giving a maximum of 1 point that they're able to earn. And at the end, we will see who has the most and who has the least, giving us the best and worst Sentinel. Shedletsky is our first character, and to be completely honest, his stun is good, and it's pretty low cooldown, with it just being 40 seconds, with only a slight windup when activated. The only thing lacking, though, is his ability is a little hard to use when someone's actually getting chased, unless you catch them by surprise. Overall, though, this is a pretty solid stunning ability that stops the killer for 3 whole seconds, giving lots of time for the team to bounce back and giving him the full point. Up next, we have 2-Time, who has another great stun, with the only drawback being that in order for it to actually stun, they have to hit the back of the killer. While this may seem a little difficult, there are some things you could do like trick stabs to make it a little easier, but due to this requirement, 2-Time only earns half a point, especially with the fact that the cooldown is 30 seconds, which means that you have to wait all that time for the ability to not even guarantee a stun if you hit, and you have to really wait for the perfect opportunity, so you're not going to be able to use it every 30 seconds anyways. Chance is up next, and to be completely honest, this category is not good for him. While he does have a good range with his stun, the time actually changes depending on how close or far he is, which is a huge problem since range is the whole appeal. Combined with the fact that this ability has a 40-second cooldown, not accounting for the requirement of trying to get 3 charges just to shoot, his consistency goes down drastically. Due to these reasons, I have to give 0 points to Chance, since his value really just goes down to luck, which I guess is what his goal is. Also, the fact that he's able to shoot through walls is really nerfed now, with it only giving slowness, really just hurts his kit overall. Guest 1337 falls into a similar boat with Chance, where his stun comes down to conditions that must be met, like hitting a block in order to stun. Luckily, he's able to get a 3.5 second stun if he hits a parry, and if he doesn't, then he has a 2-second one. Due to how it's not really in his power to stun, most of the time I'm going to give him half a point, since the stun is still powerful, and against some killers it's really easy to farm blocks, and it's just barely more consistent than Chance, which I think earns him just half a point at least. Our next category is how much survivability does each Sentinel have for themselves. For Shedletsky, he has a whole lot, since his stun can get the killer off him completely, and his other ability grants him 40 health and heal that has 2 charges. He is almost able to get back to full health from nothing, making him great for staying alive. With all this, he definitely earns a full point for survivability. 2-Time actually has some of the best survivability in the game, with life steal and a stun, and crazily enough, a second life. Combined with a stealth ability, 2-Time is able to stay alive for a while, if not immediately targeted, and come back from death, giving them definitely a point for this category. Chance actually doesn't have the worst survivability ever, but definitely out of all the Sentinels. He does have the potential to have the most health in the game at 130, but the chances of getting that are really low. You also start off with around 70 through 90 health when you begin, and a negative point equip helps you take more damage. Due to these reasons and the fact that he only has a stun to help him survive, I'll give him half a point, since 130 health is a massive amount. Compared to Chance's max health of 130, Guess 1337 actually has 115 health always, and has a great kit for keeping himself alive. Half of his abilities grant resistance, with block getting rid of all damage, and charge stopping most. Along with his punch, Guess 1337 may not have healing, but is still really good at staying alive in most situations. With this in mind, I'll probably still give Guess the full point, since the only thing he lacks is a way to heal, but his damage resistance makes up for it. With our current standings, Shadletsky is at first with 2 points, and with 2-time and Guess tied for second at 1.5 points each. And sadly, Chance is only at half a point. But there still is hope with our last category of how well can they overall help the team. Shadletsky is a solid pick, but honestly does nothing special besides stun. With this in mind, he has no conditions to actually activate the stun, I guess, besides hitting it, which makes it easy to help the team. And also the fact that he has a self-heal allows other healing sources to go towards other teammates, making him a pretty solid team player. So with all that thoughts, even though he only stuns at the end of the day, I still think he earns the full last point, giving him a total of 3. 2-time is not that helpful of a teammate, to be fair. While they do have a stun, you really have to hope that the killer is not paying attention in order for you to help. While the self-heal is nice, it's way less reliable than Shadletsky's, but it's still better than nothing. For this, I'd probably give a full point, since the stun time is nice, and the only reason it goes from a half point to a full is because if landed, it can heal 2-time, helping your healers prioritize other teammates. Chance is up next, and sadly, I'll be honest with you, he's doomed, straight up. The only way he can help the team is with a 1 or maybe 4 second stun that has a cooldown of 40 seconds with a 10% chance to just not work and kill you. This is like if Shadletsky could just stab himself for half his health and lose his sword after for like 50 seconds. Due to this, Chance is a really unreliable teammate and earns 0 points. Surprisingly, Guess is perfect for helping teammates. His charge acts as a great tool to disrupt, and if a Guess punch is saved, it can act as a lesser Shadletsky stun. Lastly, the thing that makes Guess great for helping a team is that his passive allows him to take hits for his teammates directly. This earns Guess a full point for this category. This means that if we use the criteria that we set, Shadletsky takes first place as the best Sentinel, and 2-time and Guess are tied. Sadly though, this does mean that the worst Sentinel in the game, in terms of helping people in the criteria we set, is Chance. The biggest problem that Chance has is the same that Guess suffers from. Both of them have the ability to be best Sentinels, but their inconsistency kills them. While it's possible for them to have crazy long stun times and a lot of health, at the end of the day, that is just potential. I definitely feel like a lot of people will not agree that Guess is better than Chance, but when you lay it out objectively, Chance just doesn't have a lot going for him. While he recently got buffed to be slightly luckier, it still does not make up for all the things that can go wrong quickly, like a gun not firing or having high weakness and the killer finding you. With Guess, the problem with him is the skill level, while with Chance, there's always the unreliableness no matter how good you really are. I also want to make it clear that this is 100% my opinion, and I know a lot of people will not agree, whether it's because they love Chance or they just don't like my criteria. I'm fine with you letting me know what you think in the comments, but all I'm asking you is please be civil and do not take it personal and just try to be kind with each other. I know that there's a lot of negativity going around in Forsaken, but just that is all I'm asking. Do whatever you want, but just be nice. With all that said, let me know who you think is the worst Sentinel, and if you agree that it's Chance. I tried to make this criteria since I felt like it is their job in the game, and I hope you agree. If you enjoyed watching, I'm a small creator, so I'd really appreciate it if you liked the video and consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, bye!